first start with the pranayam. What is pranayam? We can clearly see here pran plus ayam. That is breathing, control of breathing. Ayam means is the frequency. So controlling the breathe by different techniques is actually called the pranayam. And there are three different parts of this, which are the purak, rechak, and kumbhak. Purak is nothing but the inhalation, that is inhaling, and rechak is exhalation, and kumbhak is retention, meaning holding the breath. Then we'll talk about the yoga. So yoga is basically the system of exercises just to be the physically fit. It improves your flexibility, relax your body and mind both. So we'll start with the sitting positions first. So we can see the four sitting positions in the figures over here. So first one is the Padmasana. You can see here that one leg is placed over other, somewhat like this in the first figure. This is Padmasana. And the second position is Sukhasana. Sukhasana is you can sit in the position however you are feeling comfortable. मीनिंग आप एक पैर के ऊपर दूसरा पैर रख के बैठे हैं या फिर कंफर्टेबल जिस पोजीशन में यू फील गुड यू कैन सिट इन दैट. Then third one is the Vajrasan. So folding your legs like this and sitting. And then fourth one is the Siddhasan. Siddhasan is somewhat different. Even I do not suggest the people to sit in the Siddhasan because this takes you to different amplitude. So we'll not talk about the Siddhasan, but what is mandatory required in all these four sitting positions is the straight spine. Your spine should always be straight. If your spine is not straight, you are doing a big mistake because the core of your body is your spine. Then we'll start with the Tadasana and Trikonasana. For this, you have to stand, and I'm not asking you to do right now, but those who feel good, they can do this. So first one is the Tadasana, in which you stretch up your body. So I can show you the video for this. We'll go for the video. So you can see over here. If you're watching it on mobile, then you will see good. So see the Tadasana. We are stretching our body upward and we are taking the load of the body on our fingers, and we're lifting the toes. Hands are going in the upward direction. We are inhaling and exhaling when we are going up and down. So this is called Tadasana, and you must repeat this Tadasana at least for 25 times while doing the yoga things. And then second one is the Trikonasana. So while doing the Trikonasana, you should bend somewhat like this, which you can see over here. Then one hand should go straight upward, one hand should be down. You must make a shape of trikon, triangular shape like this. When you are going down, you should inhale. When you are going up, you should exhale. So you must repeat this also for 25 times. So this is Tadasana and Trikonasana. Then we'll go for the next one, which is Vrikshasana and Natarajasana. As the name suggesting itself, it's a tree pose. So you are putting your one leg, that is, you are holding your one leg on the other leg, and you should take care that this leg should go upward your knee. While you are holding your one leg on the other leg, your leg should go above the knee, and the hand should be in this position, which is actually called the pranam position, and this is called the vrikshasana. You should hold your body minimum for 30 seconds in this position. And then second one is the natarajasana. You can see you should make a posture like this, which is the natarajasana. You are making a shape of nataraj, and nataraj is actually a symbol of Lord Shiva. So these are the vrikshasana and natarajasana. That natarajasana and vrikshasana both should be done minimum for 30 seconds. Uh, and then we'll go for the forward and backward bending. While going from the forward and backward bending, what is the benefit of this forward and backward bending? It strengthens your spine, and because I talked about the spine only when I started the yoga and pranayam things. So the spine should be strong. The spine is your core. So to strengthen the spine, we should do the forward and backward bending. So while doing the forward bending, your palm should touch the floor, and your spine should be straight in this position also. That spine is only being bent from the base, but it is straight after that. And then the backward bending, you can see the curve should be made like this. You are bending the body in the backward direction. So this is the forward and backward bending. Then the Anlom Vilom and Kapalbhati. Everyone nowadays is familiar with the Anlom Vilom and Kapalbhati. So what are the benefits? Anlom Vilom controls and focus, increase your focus, relieves stress and anxiety. Before the session, Dr. Naveen Dawar talked about the stress management. So controlling the stress is quite easy while you are doing the Anlom Vilom. And you can do the Anlom Vilom wherever you are, whichever position you are in. Even after taking the dinner, you can do Anlom Vilom, or even after before the breakfast, you can do Anlom Vilom. It removes the anxiety immediately. And then Kapalbhati is just to improve your digestion. It strengthens your mool bandha, oxygenates the dead space in the lungs. And in the COVID era, we all was hearing about the lungs, right? So lungs must be healthy. So this is the best exercise, the Anlom Vilom and Kapalbhati, just to strengthen your lungs. Then we can see a small video for this also. So see this. So very firstly, you have to take breathe from the right nostril. You have to close the left nostril, and then thumb should be put on the left nostril. Then inhale from the right nostril, and inhale as long as you can inhale. Then release it from the left nostril. So everyone is familiar with the Anlom Vilom and Kapalbhati. So I'll start with the next yoga. So we are simply inhaling from the right nostril and exhaling from the left nostril, then inhaling from the right nostril and exhaling from the uh, right nostril is called the Anlom Vilom. And this Anlom Vilom should be repeated minimum for uh, uh, 15 minutes. And then Kapalbhati should also be repeated for 15 minutes. See the Kapalbhati, how it is done. I've seen most of the people when doing the Kapalbhati, they shake their body. The body should not be shaked. Your stomach should go in, and body should be in the control position. So this is the position of the Kapalbhati, and you should do this for 15 minutes. And while the stomach is going in, you should breathe out, and when the stomach is coming out, you should breathe in. So this is the Anlom Vilom and Kapalbhati. Then we'll go for the next uh, pranayam, which is Nadi Suddhi pranayam. This is the most effective pranayam, and it controls the Pingla, Ida, and Sushmana Nadi. We can see in the figure over here. So Sushmana, even the medical modern symbol is just represented by this Sushmana, Ida, and Pingla Nadi only. So benefits of this Nadi Shuddhi pranayam is the nerves are calmed and purified, and the mind becomes still, improves the lung capacity. So how this Nadi Shuddhi pranayam is done? It is advanced form of Anlom Vilom actually. First of all, you will breathe from the right nostril. You have to close your left nostril. So you have to take breathe from the right nostril, uh, and then you have to hold your breath for some time, and then exhale from the left nostril, and then inhale from the left nostril. Hold your breath, exhale from the right nostril, and this should be done in a ratio, which is 1:4:2. That is, if you are inhaling for the 4 seconds, you have to hold your breath for the 16 seconds, and then exhale for the 8 seconds. Right. So, if suppose I'm inhaling from the right nostril for 4 seconds, then I have to hold the breath for 16 seconds. Then I'll exhale from the left nostril for 8 seconds. And then opposite of this, that is when we are inhaling from the left nostril, if I'm inhaling for the 4 seconds, then I have to hold the breath for 16 seconds. And then I'm exhaling for 8 seconds from the right nostril. So this should be done in the ratio 1:4:2. It is very effective. It calms your body immediately. It purifies your nerves, which are the Sushmana, Pingla, and Ida Nadi. And next is the Bastrika and Ujjayi. For this, I'll show you video, but before that, we'll understand the benefits of the Bastrika and Ujjayi pranayam. So Bastrika is to increase the elastic properties of lungs and chest. So it strengthened your lungs, and Ujjayi reduces the body mass index. Those who are fatty, they should definitely do Ujjayi pranayam. And thyroid stimulating hormones are also controlled by means of this Ujjayi pranayam. So I'll show you the video for this. So see how this Bhastrika is done. I have to take a long breathe. I'll breathe in first and then I'll exhale via a jerk. You can see this here. And then I'll bend my chin. See this? I'm inhaling and exhaling. This is Bhastrika. Inhaling and exhaling with a jerk is Bhastrika. And then I'm doing the Ujjayi. So while exhaling, I have to bend my chin. Neck should be bent. And then I'll breathe in with a sound, which is Ujjayi. So because the sound from the YouTube is not audible, so I'll tell you how this sound will come. It is somewhat like this. So sound like this should come when you are inhaling, and then just watch the video. Then bend your neck, inhale with a sound, and after inhaling, just breathe for just hold your breath for some 15 seconds, and then you have to exhale from the left nostril after bringing your neck to the original position. So after this, now we'll go for the next uh, asan, which is Vakrasan and Gomukhasana. So Vakrasan, you can see over here, one leg should go inside, the other leg should be straight. Then if you are taking the left leg in the inward direction, then the right hand should cross the left leg somewhat like this, and then the right hand should hold the knee of the right leg. So this is the Vakrasana, and the Gomukhasana is your one knee should be over the other knee, and then hand should go backward. I'll show you the backward position of the hand by showing the video. So this is the Vakrasana, and hold the position for 15 seconds in this, and then I'll show you the Gomukhasana. So this is the Gomukhasana from back view. So hand should be interlocked somewhat like this, and the front view for the Gomukhasana should be this. This is all about the Vakrasana and Gomukhasana. What is the benefit of Vakrasana? It is massages your abdominal organs, reduces belly fat. Gomukhasana stretches the chest, opens your shoulders, and increase the range of the motion, etc. So it increases the flexibility and strengthen the organs. Then the next is the Mandukasana and Shashakasana. So for Mandukasana, you have to sit in this position. So very firstly, you have to sit with the Vajrasana, and then okay, I'll show you the video for this also. The Mandukasana. So see this, you're sitting in the Vajrasana first, and then you are folding your fingers like this. Thumb should be inside, and then put the hands on the stomach and go down with exhaling. While going down, you have to exhale. Then hold your breathe in this position as long as you can, but minimum for 15 seconds. Then come back to the original position, and while coming back to the original position, you have to inhale. So this is the Mandukasana, and then is the next is the Shashakasana. Shashakasana is just the position of children. So in this position, you have to take the hands somewhat like this in the front, and then bring your body in the rest position. Hold your breath while you are in this position, and then come back to the original position and inhale when you are coming back to the original position. So this is the Mandukasana and Shashakasana. So now next is what are the benefits of this? It relieves relief from diabetes, digestion disorder, and constipation, relaxing stretch to the upper body. We know that most of the diseases start from the stomach only. So your stomach should be strong. So these are the two exercises to strengthen the stomach. The next is the Tulasana. You can see that my body is hanging on my hands. So your both palms should be on the floor, and then you have to lift your body. So this strengthen your arms. This is just to strengthen your arms. So this is called the Tulasana. The next is the Surya Namaskar. There are 12 different posture of the Surya Namaskar. We can see over here, this is the first one, this is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and coming back to the original position, which is the 12th and first position. So I'll show you a small video for this, and showing this from the side view will be better. So see this is number 2, and then going for, sorry, I'll show you the side view of this. So this is number 1, then going back, bending like this, number 2, number 3, going down, putting your hands behind your legs, 3, number 4, then number 5, which is actually called the Parvatasana. Number 6, your stomach should touch the floor, but your chest should come first. Then next posture, then again the Parvatasana. Then this time the right leg is coming in front. Then coming back to the original position. So there are different 12 postures in the Surya Namaskar, and this is the full body exercise. While doing the Surya Namaskar, your full body is strengthened, and you must do this minimum for 11 times. Then next is the Setbandhu Asana and Naukasana. So you can see the posture of the Setbandhu Asana and Naukasana. So this is the Naukasana. Taking the coming to this position is called the Setbandh Asana, and coming to this position is called the Naukasana. These both are just to stretch the chest, neck, spine, and hips, and it strengthens the abdominal muscles. Those who are fatty, this Naukasana is perfect exercise for them. And next is the Ustrasana and Chakrasana. So Ustrasana is bending the body in the backward direction, and then touching your feet with your hands. And then Chakrasana is bringing your position in the semicircular shape and lifting up your body. So I can show you video for this also. See this. So very firstly, we'll sit in the Vajrasana. Then I'll bend backward. Will touch my feet with my hands, and this is the Ustrasana. Hold your position minimum for 15 seconds. And this is the Ustrasana. Then next is the Chakrasana. So making a semicircular shape. Chakra means it is a circular shape, but basically we make a semicircular shape over here. So bringing the weight of body and toes and palms, and lift up your body somewhat like this. This is called the Chakrasana. Make a perfect semicircular shape. It takes too much strength. Once you will practice it, you will enjoy doing this Chakrasana. Then next is the Makrasana and Dhanurasana. So I'll show you the video for this also. And what is the advantage of the Makrasana and Dhanurasana? It reduces the fat and obesity, strengthens the spine, massages the liver and internal organs. So we'll go for the video of this also. Makrasana and Dhanurasana. So we have to Makarasana means it is the position of crocodile. Makar Asan. So we have to bend our legs like this, and this should be repeated minimum for 50 times. 50 बार कम से कम करें. It strengthen the spine बहुत सिंपल एक्सरसाइज है, बट इट इज परफेक्ट टू स्ट्रेंथन योर स्पाइन. And then Dhanurasana is holding your toes with your palms and stretching it as much as possible and making the shape of Dhanush. This is called Dhanurasana. So these are the Makarasana and Dhanurasana. Then we'll go for the next one, which is the Bakasana and Halasana. So Bakasana means we are holding our body, full body on our hands only. Uh, this is basically called the frog stand. We are holding our position like a frog, and then Halasan means we know all know that what is Hal. So we are making a position of a Hal. So let us go for the video of this also. So before going the Bakasan, your wrist must be strong. So to strengthen the wrist, we have to do this exercise. Just put your hands on the floor like this and then press. Then this will make your wrist strong. And once your wrist is strong, once you have practiced this particular thing for 1 week, you can go for the Bakasan. So we are holding our knees with the help of our elbows. So we are bringing the load of knees on the elbows and will lift the body bit like this, and this is called the Bakasan. So hold the position minimum for 30 seconds, and then the Halasan is this, taking the legs in the backward direction and touching the floor is called the Bakasan. Then what are the benefits of this? Suppose strengthen the wrist, forearms. Halasan is to strengthen the shoulders and spines. Then next is Shirshasana and Sarvangasana. Shirshasana is not an easy exercise or asana, but Sarvangasana can be done by everyone. So what are the advantage? Usually what we can observe that the flow of blood in the brain is not much. So while we are doing the Shirshasana, due to the gravitational flow, the blood goes into the brain and it oxygenates the blood supply to the brain, promoting the clarity and sharpness of the intellect. तो कुछ लोग जो भूल जाते हैं, जिनकी मेमोरी डल हो चुकी है, दे यूजुअली थिंक कि मैं क्या सोच रहा था, मैं क्या कर रहा था. दिस शीर्षासन इज perfect exercise for them. So let us go for the video of the Shirshasana and Sarvangasana. Shirshasana requires practice. While you are practicing the Shirshasana, you must do this with the help of a wall. But after practicing for some 1 week or two, you can do this without a wall. And while you are doing the Shirshasana, your hands should be in this position. Just watch the video. Your hand should be in this position. The load should come on the forehead. Just see, my forehead will touch the floor, and then slowly I'll take my leg upward and lift my legs somewhat like this. So this is called the Shirsh Asana. You should practice this minimum for 1 minute daily. If you're doing this for 1 minute daily, your intellect level will increase and आपको भूलने की बीमारी कभी नहीं होगी. And then Sarvangasana, those who cannot do the Shirshasana, they should definitely do this Sarvangasana. So what is there in the Sarvangasana? I'm lying on the floor like this, simply, and then lifting up my legs. With the help of my hands, I'll hold this position, and this is called the Sarvangasana. And then I'll go for the next one, which is the Jal Niti. Jal Niti requires practice. It is to be done very carefully. What we are doing in this Jal Niti, we are removing pollutants from the nasal passage and sinus, allowing air to flow without obstruction. So those who are suffering from the problem of sinus or जिनको cough cold बहुत ज़्यादा रहता है, this Jal Niti is absolutely perfect exercise for them. But what do you require for Jal Niti is this particular container. इस तरह का jar या container you can buy online or you can buy from market. एंड ये आपका प्लास्टिक में भी आता है, and the cost of this pot is somewhere around 150 rupee. So you can buy this online, and I'll show you the video of this Jalniti as well. See how is to be done. And while doing the Jalniti, you have to be careful. You have to mix a bit amount of salt in the water, and water should be lukewarm. So while you are making mixing the salt with the water, it will actually make the concentration of water like the concentration of tears. So when it will become like, it will wave like a tear. So your brain will not think that it is a foreign particle, or the foreign particles or foreign fluid is going into the nozzle. So mixing the salt is mandatory for doing the Jalniti. Now you see this, and you have to open your mouth. You have to breathe in and breathe out from your mouth, and water will flow through the nose. So I have put the nozzle of this pot on the left nose, and then water is coming out from the right nose, right nostril. And then after this, you have to do the Kapalbhati for a minute. So the particle uh, left inside your nostril should come out. So you have to do Kapalbhati in this position for some 10 or 20 seconds. So the water particles which are left inside the nostril will come out. So this is how the Jalniti is done. And after Jalniti, we have the Brahmani and Udgit. So these are the two simple exercise. The Brahmani, in the Brahmani and Udgit both, we are doing the pronunciation of Om. And when we are doing the Brahmani, our hand should be in this position. You can see in the first image, the first finger should be on the eyebrow, and then middle finger should be on the ears, and the rest two fingers should be close to nostril. And then we have to do the pronunciation of Om, and our mouth should be closed, and do this minimum for 5 times. And then we can see the Udgit here. We are doing the pronunciation of Om, but we should sit in this position, and we are putting the one leg over the other, and and I'll show you the video for this also. So you see this, we are putting the fingers like this when we are doing the Brahmani, and your thumb should go inside the ear. Then breathe in as long as possible and do the pronunciation of Om. And mouth should be closed in this position. And repeat the Brahmani for 5 times. And then after doing Brahmani, you must do the Udgit Pranayam. So what we are doing in Udgit, we are inhaling, exhaling, and when we are exhaling, we should do the pronunciation of Om. So there are two letters in the word Om, O and M. So when we are doing the Udgit, we must do the Udgit first when the pronunciation of letter O should be long and the M should be short, and then we are doing it for next 5 times. Then pronunciation of O should be small and M should be long. And when we are doing it for 5 times, our fingers position should change. We must sit in the Dhyan Mudra first, and then Vayu Mudra, Akash Mudra, Prithvi Mudra, and Varun Mudra. You can see I'm showing you this here, that you should change the position of fingers, right? When we are doing it for 5 times. So this is the Prana Mudra, Akash Mudra, Prithvi Mudra, Vayu Mudra. So this completes the presentation of the yoga, and then I'll share the PPT with you. And now if you people have any query, you can ask me.